I'm ready to sew my zipper pouch part of the wallet, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have a double zipper. So I'm going to put a zipper on this end and I'm going to put a zipper on this end. This is a little bit different than the tutorial that can be found on the NCW Addict website, because I figured out a way that works for me, and I think it's a little bit easier. The one thing that I am going to be doing is I'm going to be doing what we call zipper tabs. And what a zipper tab does is it finishes off the ends of the zipper, but it cuts off these chunky pieces of hardware, so that when you're sewing up your side seams, you don't have to deal with that big chunky piece and avoid it or try to incorporate it in the seam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark, this isn't the greatest pencil, I'm going to mark a part on my zipper tape about a ½ inch away from that stopper on the end there, and that's where I'm going to sew one of my tabs, and then I'm going to mark on this end about a ½ inch from the edge of your fabric. You're going to have a ¼ of an inch, and then you're going to have about a ¼ of an inch of your tab to be showing. So the way that we sew these is we take matching piece that matches your pocket, and you're going to lay the zipper tab over that line that you just made, and basically I'm going to flip this over. Now you want the biggest part of your zipper tab to be facing the center of your zipper, and I'm going to remark these lines so I can make sure that I get it pretty straight. And I'm going to just sew across that. And you can sew across it a couple of times if you want to. And now I'm going to cut off this part of the zipper that's beyond where I just sewed. So that's out of my way and the bulk is gone. And then I'm going to turn this over, and I can finger press or I can press with the iron, and that's what the end of my zipper is going to look like. Now I'm going to do the same thing up here, but I have to get my zipper pull to be in the middle, because if it's up here and I sew it, I try to cut it off, my zipper is no good because I have cut off the pull, so it just doesn't work. So I'm going to lay this over it, and I'm going to remark it again to make sure that I've got it in the right, got it in the right spot. When I sew this, or when I line this up, I want to make sure that these ends of the zipper tape are even and not bulging out. That sometimes is kind of tricky to do. And so I've got my marker where I'm going to sew, and I've got my pull out of the way in the middle of the zipper. And I'm going to sew that, and now I'm going to take this part right here and I'm going to clip it off. And then pull it back. So now when I get ready to sew this to my actual pocket part, we have a lot of people who have said that they put theirs in backwards for a right-handed person by getting their zipper tab when it's closed over here. So we want to make sure that it's over on this side. Okay? But we can't have that be right there. So I'm going to line this up so that I have just about the same amount of the zipper tab even on both sides, as far as about 3/8 of an inch. And now I'm going to flip this, because this is how it needs to go in. Ow. If you have a zipper foot on your machine, it'd be a good thing to use it because you want to get fairly close to the zipper tape, but not too close. And then another thing you want to consider is you want to make sure that when you're sewing past this, you don't sew past this. You stop and you move it out of the way, because you see it bulges out here. And I don't really want that bulge when I'm sewing my zipper onto this pocket piece. So when I get down to the end here, I'm going to have to move it again. And I don't know if you saw this, it kind of blends in, but I had put my, this is called my security tab. It's 4 inches long and about 1.5 inches wide, and I sewed a piece of pile Velcro to this side. This is going to attach across the 2 zipper pockets so that when you open your wallet, it doesn't fall completely open. This center section will be kind of closed up. So I just moved my zipper tab again, and I'm going to complete and go down here. Now, some people like to sew both the outside and the inside together at the same time, and I do not. So it's pretty even, maybe not perfect, but it'll work for right now. So now I want to go ahead and I want to pick one of my this is my pocket, my inside pocket fabric, and I'm going to lay that over where I just sewed, and I'm going to line up the edges of this with the edge of the outer pocket part, and I'm going to sew basically across where I just finished sewing. This is sewing your pocket lining to the actual outer pocket, and attaching it there. Okay, I'm going to do this again. I press a foot so that it works. So now I've got my pocket inside part and my outside part sewn together, and now I'm going to just kind of finger press these pieces, and I'm going to do a top stitch across this whole thing, and I want to do it underneath this security tab. I want to make sure on the back that this is really pulled down and away from the zipper. I'm going to press a little bit, make sure. So you want to make sure that that's away. And now you're going to top stitch. Okay, now I want this out of the way for the rest of my process, so I'm going to go ahead and pin that down so that it doesn't get in my way when I'm doing the rest of my stuff. So now I have half of this pocket finished. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on this side as I did on this side, except I'm not going to use a full piece of fabric. I'm going to use a half piece of fabric. And that's because I'm going to be also working on this end. I don't want to be working on a closed tube. So I'm going to work on a flat piece, and then when I'm all finished with this, I'm going to sew a seam to make it be a tube, but after I've done all of my stitching that I need to do. So again, I'm lining this up so that it's even over here, even up here, even over here. And I'm going to go ahead and go across and stitch. I'm going to move my zipper. Zipper pull, excuse me. Complete this seam. Okay, and then I'm going to take the other side of my pocket. I'm going to lay it over this. Line it up with everything. Make sure that it's matching up pretty well. There is fudge factor in this, so if you don't get it lined up exactly perfect, well, it'll still be okay. Don't get it too far off though. It looks pretty good. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to follow this line of stitching. Make sure my edges stay even up here at the top. Right where my finger is, I can feel my zipper pull. So I know I need to stop there and move it. So I'll move it out of the way. Pull this back. Pull my inside of my pocket back. I think I will do a little press on that. And top stitch. Okay, so basically if you were going to only put a zipper in one end of your center pocket, then you'd be done. And you'd be ready to sew up these sides and get it all ready to go inside. But since I'm going to put another zipper pocket in, I'm going to put that down here. And I'm going to make sure that my tab is over here when I put it in. Because basically it's going to look like this. And I want both of my zipper tabs to start and end in the same spot. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll show it to you when it's done.